and thank you for choosing the best Banff tourism business to introduce you to our beautiful city. This video is called Becoming the Best Tourist in Banff. We welcome you to Banff, Alberta, and would like to take this opportunity to give you a rundown on the green spaces, corridors, and systems in Banff, and to show you how you can be the best tourist in Banff. One thing you'll notice about Banff and Banff National Park is the abundance of wildlife that exists in this beautiful environment. It's not uncommon to see deer on your way down the slopes or on your hikes through the beautiful Rocky Mountains. However, with humans expanding further and further into these natural habitats, the urban and natural environments have inevitably merged.
Just like we visit their habitat, animals have started to visit ours. One thing you may experience during your stay in Banff is deer in and amongst the city. If you come across a deer in the city, please don't approach or feed them. You wouldn't take food from a deer, so they shouldn't take food from you either. Green spaces such as parks, woodlots, and even front lawns and graveyards provide deer a habitat that allows them to browse vegetation as well as be more comfortable in an urban setting. Interconnected green spaces have a higher chance of attracting wildlife, as corridors between spaces allow the facilitation of resources such as soil nutrients, water, and vegetation. Adding to this fact, it's less likely that deer will venture into large open green spaces that are already occupied by humans almost year-round. These include ski hills, parks, and other recreational areas.
Here in Banff, we have also recognized that increased urbanization in and around the city has changed the configuration of green spaces, corridors, and systems in Banff National Park. This urban influence impacts the wildlife that inhabit the park. The Trans-Canada Highway runs through this area. In fact, many of you probably traveled to Banff through this route and may have been wondering what those bridges over the highway were. Well, we hope you didn't get your heart set on a scenic hike over the Trans-Canada Highway, because these aren't hiking trails. In fact, humans are prohibited from using these structures.
The areas surrounding the highway is home to wolves, cougar, lynx, marten, elk, deer, hare, and red squirrel, just to name a few. And these species were affected when humans altered this area. As a way to restore connectivity and ecological integrity to these fragmented habitats, artificial wildlife corridors have been built along the highway and can be seen down the highways. These can take the shape of overpasses and underpasses. In theory, these structures will allow species to migrate freely and overcome the barrier created by the highways.
In reality, it was found that these structures don't benefit all species equally. There are more factors that will determine if animals will utilize these corridors. Researchers observed the footprints left by animals on various overpasses and underpasses to determine which corridors each type of animal preferred. They found that the structure of the overpass or the underpass, as well as its proximity to human activity, influenced which corridors the animals used. For example, the most important factor for ungulates when determining if they used the corridor was structural openness. The ungulates preferred the corridors with less open space, and those which offered them protection from predators while they were crossing. The second most important factor for them was proximity to urban areas and human influence. However, this was not the case for carnivores such as wolves. These animals tended to not utilize underpasses which were close to urban sites and in areas frequently used by hikers, bikers, and horseback riders. The proximity to human activity was the most important factor for carnivores when determining the usefulness of a particular corridor. In contrast, the structural composition of the corridor was less important to them than it was for the ungulates.
This shows that even the best designed and landscaped underpasses may become ineffective for the species that need them with an increase in human activity. So unless you're one of the designated footprint counters, we ask that you stay on the designated trails for the benefit of both you and our wildlife friends. The complexity of the Banff National Park system has increased due to urbanization. The configuration of these green spaces and corridors has changed with the introduction of urban areas and infrastructure. As a result, deer have now ventured into city limits and have used the artificial corridors over our highways to overcome the barriers that have fragmented their habitat. Thanks for watching our video on becoming the best tourist in Banff. We hope you enjoy your stay.
And don't feed the deer.